Hello, 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 friends. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another Furls Friday Live with Mrs. Deveter. I'm really excited to be live with you all today. I hope that everyone is doing well. As per usual, my friends are in the chat room already chatting it up. So hello to Jessica and Amy. Who else we got in here? Danielle. Hello to you, Monica. Hey, Miss Karen, Amy, Francis. Who else? Moonlight Crochet and Crafts. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Furls Live. It is Friday, March 7th, and it is National Crochet Month. Woohoo! It's our month, everybody. And so for this month, my goal is to interview some folks to talk about crochet, people who have new projects, books, and just doing some really creative things in the fiber arts field. Today, I'm really excited to have one of my cool peeps. I've interviewed her a few times before. Every time we have an interview, it is a wonderful time. I learn something new. She exposes me to things, and I'm always excited about that. But before I bring her to the stage, I want to congratulate our giveaway winner for this week. It is, drum roll please, where's my thingamahoots? I done lost it. Oh, wait. Y'all know how I am. Can't find things when I need things. Let's go to Threads and see if it's there. Okay, so two things. First thing is congratulations to our winner, who is Tina S. You are the winner of 3 teal ombre wood hooks. Where are my wood hooks? Y'all know I put things away and then I can't find them. It's just a lot going on over here, y'all. Forgive me. But Tina S. in Tennessee, you are the winner of 3 teal ombre wood crochet hooks. Congratulations. They are absolutely beautiful and I know you will love them. So keep an eye out from an email from Heather at Furls Crochet. Make sure that you respond so that you can get your prize. Make sure that you all sign up for the newsletter. Make sure that you all sign up for the giveaways. You do not want to miss out. Today, we have 25% off resin hooks with the code 2025 resin. So today, we have a sale going on with resin hooks. They are 25% off when you use the code 2025. And these are the resin hooks that include Streamline Zodiac, Streamline Galaxy, any limited editions that we might have, Streamline Pride. Any of our resin hooks are on sale, 25% off. That's a nice deal, everybody. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I got those things out of the way before I brought Miss Ashley Parker to the stage of the Loopy Lamb. Give her some love.
Hi.
She's wearing her super cool blue glasses and a sparkly top.
Yep,
I'm loving
it. Got my ombre hooks here, in case anyone needed to see them.
Thank you, my dear, because my desk, y'all don't want to see my desk. Have you ever seen those videos where people like show their workspace and where they're like recording and how nice and neat and pristine it is, and then they turn the camera to where the actual work is done, and you're like, oh, that's scary. So yeah, that's what I got going on
in live time right now.
What's going on this desk? I'll be like, Miss Deveter, what I got pens and paper and all kinds of things going on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for agreeing to join us. You have so much going on always. Like you always have something happening, whether it's a crochet along that you're doing. I think the last time we talked, you were making a dinosaur. Was it a dinosaur?
Yeah, he's right up here behind my head there, right there.
Look at him. So the green one, y'all, so stinking cute. So you do those, and then you do your advent every year, which is always so dang cool. I have a few dolls that I've made from the advent, so we love to see that. You've written books, Amy books, but your most recent is what? Tell us what the latest is from Miss Ashley.
So after publishing my first book, which is up here behind me, Crochet Furry Friends, I noticed that there were a lot of people helping themselves to crochet patterns that they're finding on websites and making books out of them, and effectively stealing content from makers like me who share their content. And I was like,
Wait. So people were seeing patterns that they found online, like your wonderful blog where you have so many free patterns and so many awesome things. They were taking these patterns and making books like it was theirs.
Yep,
You
I
got to be kidding me.
Nope, I had to report one to Amazon last week because they had 34 of my amigurumi advent calendar patterns and had made their own book. And it was selling quite well for them, which is frustrating for me because they're making money off of my content, which was a huge motivator for me behind creating the book. Besides the fact that I also wanted to have a little bit more control over the whole process of publishing, because when you self-publish your content like I do, and then you work with a publisher, although it is fantastic and you have a lot of support, it can sometimes, for some of us, be hard to give up some of that control, right? And you also give up a lot of the profits from that book. Right? You create the content, but because they're taking the risk on you and putting out all the financing to create that book and get it into stores, you get a smaller percentage, like on average between like 6 and 12%. Wow. Right? For your first book, it can be higher, but that's like the average that I've found in all of my research. So I've created my book, and this is just a author's copy, Publish It Yourself. And I spent months researching how to create or self-publish your own book. And I mean, my thought behind it was like, people are stealing my content and able to do it. So why shouldn't I be?
Why shouldn't I? Right.
So I did all of this research and created this book to support other people in the crafting community. It doesn't have to be crochet. It could be knitting, quilting. If you have a concept for a craft book, you can use this book to self-publish that book on Amazon and Ingram Sparks in order to get your book out into the world on your own terms and make more money per unit than you would going traditional publishing route.
So, wow. Thank you. And wow. So, wow. I was in a group the other day and I saw somebody ask the question, if I watched the tutorial and then wrote up the pattern from the tutorial I watched, can I get credit for that pattern? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not. It's if it didn't come 100% from your brain and your creativity, it is not yours. You are taking from another designer. And there's multitudes of those kind of posts in different scenarios where I wrote this or I bought this pattern and I didn't like the way it was written, so I rewrote it and I'm going to sell it, or can I sell it and it's mine now, or I can change it 20% and then it's mine. Like there's no percentage of which you can change a pattern and make it your own. It has to come from your brain and your creativity to genuinely be your own. If not, you're
stealing
artists.
You're still, and I have such an issue with that. Like, just because you tweak something doesn't make it your own. Like, okay, if you're gonna say I'm teaching somebody how to make this, it's still not yours. So I want to do a beginner crochet class because a couple of friends of mine have said that they wanted to get into crochet, blah, blah, blah. And I found this really cool dishcloth that I want to use as the project that they would work on. The first thing I did was reach out to the designer and say, hey, it was on her site. It was totally free, whatever. I said, hey, I'm getting ready to do this class and I love your pattern. I want to know if it's okay that I use it as the pattern for the class. Of course, I will give you all the credit. I'll lead back to your site, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, all the things. And she emailed me back and she was like, of course, no problem. Thanks so much for reaching out. It's just that simple, but you can't take something that's not, like, we've taught our children not to steal. Like, you can't steal that.
Well, yeah, and it's incredibly frustrating especially for makers like who do what I do, right? Like I've got almost 300 free patterns on my blog now.
Yep.
And there are people who feel entitled to my creativity and my work, and they either try to profit off of it or they just outright steal it. Like I see somebody in the comment who's saying that there are groups where people are sharing paid patterns, but they're also sharing patterns for free that they find for free, but they're scraping them off the blog and putting them into these private groups because they can't be bothered with the ads. And while I understand that, the ads pay for my materials for me to earn a living, so that way I can create these contents and have you access them for free. So when you are removing it from the site and putting it somewhere else, you are hurting artists, and then those artists will give up. And I've seen many people do that in this industry. There's a lot of turnover for this reason. And I wish people understood that by you're taking from the little guy. We're not making tons of money. Like I'm not like laying in a bed of dollar bills over here. Like we are sharing it for me. I started as a way to make it accessible and make it so anybody could crochet. But when you're taking from your site, you're hurting the people, and then they'll just stop. They'll just stop.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I feel like it's a situation where treat others the way you want to be treated. If you created something, wouldn't you want to get the credit, and wouldn't you want to get the money that you deserve? So I think it's awful that people are even doing that. So in your opinion, so for all the free patterns that you have, if I, which I do, Mrs. Deveter says, I have an order for a doll, and I love this Ashley Parker, this Loopy Lamb pattern.
Mhm.
When I make the doll and I sell it to the person who's requested it, is there anything that I should be doing to make sure I'm giving you your credit?
No, not really. Like for me, I ask that if you're selling it online, it's always nice to credit the designer. It's always nice. You don't have to. I understand that if you're selling and you want to keep it secret so not everybody's selling the same thing. I get it, right? But if you're selling and you're making money off of somebody else's patterns, again, the nice thing to do is to maybe buy the PDF, right? Support them because they're enabling you to have that business to sell the products, right? Like, because if without that pattern, you have no product to sell.
Mhm.
Again, you don't have to do that because I get it. When I first started, I had no startup money, no nothing. I used all free patterns, which I was incredibly grateful for, which motivated me to also share my patterns for free on my blog, right? But once I had some money and I continued to use those patterns, I went back and I bought the PDFs, or I shared their content, or I told other people what great content they had, which all helps the designer. And those don't have to cost anything, right? It's
Right.
like, how easy is it for you to pin an image from a site
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
leads back
Mhm.
to them, right? So other
Mhm.
people can enjoy it.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it
That's
can be so
good.
easy.
That's really, really good. So if you don't have the funds to buy the pattern flat out, share, repost, let people know, this is the pattern that I use. Go check out this designer's website. So tell us a little bit more about the book. Like, what's inside of it? What can people expect to get? When will it be released? Where can we purchase it?
All right, so the book again is Publish It, because I did see somebody ask me what it was called.
Mhm.
It's called Publish It Yourself, A Crafter's Guide to Self-Publishing. And my whole premise behind it was like, we DIY everything,
Everything.
right? So it's like, let's DIY this as well, right? Let's take more control over it. And so in the book, because not everybody has experience with traditional publishing or knows the ins and outs, I do share at the beginning, like, why you might want to consider self-publishing, why you might want to consider traditional publishing. And I go over the pros and cons of both of them, right? Having done both, and I'm in the process of working on another traditionally published book as well. Um, there are definitely there are definitely situations where you might want to choose traditional over self-publishing, right? So I just go over all the pros and cons so that way you can make an educated decision for yourself on whether this is the right step for you. And I go over the different platforms that you can use to self-publish, again, the pros and cons of each platform, and why I focus primarily on Ingram Sparks and Amazon, specifically because I get it. When you want to publish your book, like you want to go into the store and you want to see it on a shelf. Now, I unfortunately did not get that experience with Crochet Furry Friends. It
Mhm.
just didn't work out that way. But I can publish it into stores by publishing through Ingram Spark, right?
Mm,
They have deals where they have a catalog where retailers can go and find your book and order copies of it for your store. Now,
mm,
a lot of nuances that go into selling your book to retail,
mm,
and a lot of people don't know about them. So I explain those nuances, the things you have to consider, pricing strategies, and I also talk about marketing, how to market your book. I include like a rough marketing plan that you can follow and checklist so to help you keep on track because you have to be all your entire publishing team as
mhm,
one person.
mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
you have to understand all the different facets that go into that, and I try to explain that as thoroughly as possible without, 'cause it can get boring without getting too boring.
Awesome. Well, I mean, thank you for even thinking about this. Thank you for seeing it as an issue that not only impacted you but impacted so many others. So thank you for sharing that. We really, really do appreciate it. When is it coming out? Is it
It's
out already?
It came out on my birthday last month, actually,
Oh,
unfortunately, the whole family got sick, and then so it just kinda delayed any sort of promotions I had because it was like a big birthday surprise.
ooh, not fun.
Yes, but you can get it right now on Amazon,
Okay.
and, right now, I'm also working on getting it into retail stores. We're
Mhm,
just waiting on different proof copies because that's one of the things I talk about is how to make sure your book is the quality that you want and ordering proof copies like this one,
mhm,
and you'll see it has, like, this line across it, which
mhm,
says, "I can't sell it," which is fine.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
checking the quality, I'm checking the print and what it looks like, and, the feel, right? You want a book is an experience, especially if you're buying it in a paper copy.
mhm,
If you get a cover and it's all scratchy or like it scratches up and it looks bad, is that something that you're willing to have for your book or is it not?
mhm. Yeah, I so important. Thank you, Gloria, for saying that. This really is an important topic. Most of the people who watch these lives are, entrepreneurs and folks who are selling their products. And to know like this back end stuff, a lot of time, I'm married to a musician, right? My husband is a musician, and sometimes he really hates the business side of the music. He just wants to be in the creative, right? And that's how most of us are. We just like, I just want to get my hook in my yarn and I want
Mhm.
to make a thing, right? But in order to be successful after you put your hook in your yarn down, you have to know the business side of things. So
Yeah.
it's really important that we have these books and that we read them and we use the knowledge, because Ashley is sharing from her experience, y'all. Like she's not just coming with this idea because she's coming with this idea, but she's coming from a place of experience. And I think that makes such a huge different. So again, thank you, Ashley, for your passion behind this and for really helping us get to where we want to be. So we appreciate you. So you said it's available on Amazon now, everybody.
Yeah.
It's available now. We are going to do a giveaway of one book. We're going to do the old school giveaway that we used to do back in the day when I would just scroll. So the more times you're commenting, the more likely you are to win a prize. So keep on talking, y'all. Keep on talking. So let's see. Folks are saying stuff. When there is a pattern on a blog, but they also offer a PDF, I always purchase the PDF to support the designer, and two, saves time for writing it myself from the blog. Very, very true. Or trying to copy and paste into a Word document without the ads. I know
Oh,
we've
yeah.
all done it.
And, like, I've been doing this what it feels like a long time now, and even when I see, like, the little alert come through that somebody's bought my pattern, like, it still means so much to me because somebody's spending their hard-earned money to not just only support me, but to support themselves in a craft and continue to allow me to do what I do, right? So every time I see it, I'm like, "Thank you so much." And, like, I think I've seen it online many times where it's like a business owner does a happy dance every time you do an order, and every time every time I'm excited that somebody's chosen to use one of my patterns.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's important. It's important to support. And not only is it National Crochet Month, but it's Women's History Month,
Mhm.
right? And so I think it's really important that we celebrate one another, that we help one another. And patterns aren't that expensive, y'all. I try to keep money either on my WhatsApp, not WhatsApp, on my what do you call that thing? Oh Lord, they all green. The Cash App. They all green. I'm like, what's that Cash App? All apps. I try to keep money on that card or my PayPal, because when I look, I know we all have our pattern folder. Like, this is just one. This is my one pattern folder. I have like a gazillion books and patterns and things that I've purchased. I don't know when I'm gonna make this stuff, y'all. But if I see a pattern, I'm like, oh, that's cute, on Etsy or wherever I'm at, and I just purchase it, because that's what we do, right? We really work to support crafters who are just like us. They're just like,
Exactly. And like when I was writing this book, you know this about me. I'm a huge, huge supporter of other women in business and want to support other people. I don't see other designers as competition. I think that we should all be lifting each other up. And that was a huge motivator behind this, because I was talking to somebody else as I was writing. I was very excited and telling them all about it. And they're like, but aren't you literally just handing like your competition exactly what they need to do what you're doing? I'm like, yes, but they're not my competition. They're other women who are trying to build their own businesses, and not just women, I'm generalizing, but lots of other people who are doing the same thing. And this is a hard business to build a full-time income doing.
yes,
And
yes.
so if I can enable them to do that and have more control over their business, then I want to do that. And it doesn't matter to me if somebody's book does better than me. I'll be there cheering them on the entire way.
Yep. Yep. And there's enough space out here for all of
Mhm.
us to eat. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? There's enough space, because my even if I'm using your pattern, the way I crochet looks different than the way you crochet. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter if I'm supporting you. You know, it like, I don't understand that whole thing. When you go down the bread aisle in the grocery store, how many different types of bread do you see? It's all bread, but it's
yeah,
so many different brands that you see. So to
yeah,
say that you're giving away the keys, you're letting the people, yeah, I am. What's the big deal? Like,
yeah,
so yeah, I definitely feel you. I think there's a lot of people who have that competition mindset.
mhm,
But I like, it's just giving everybody an opportunity. So again, we truly appreciate you for doing this, for taking the time, identifying an issue and trying to find a solve. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like,
for sure.
identifying an issue and trying to find a solve. So thank you,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. What else people are saying here? I love this. I love all the support and collaboration between crochet content creators. It's so neat to see all the community and friendships. Absolutely, Grace. I was telling Ashley before we started that I'm a part of this group called Dope People Crochet on Facebook, and the creativity that comes out, it's just like, oh my gosh, how did you even think of that? There's one young lady who I really hope to have an interview with this month. It'll probably be in the evening. And she does crochet canvases, like paintings, but with crochet. And I am awestruck every time I see it. She posted one a set of I can't. It's not paintings. It's crochet, but a
yeah,
set of denim and crochet, and I was just like, that's so stinking cool. And I think that's how we all should be. We should all
it's
be,
good.
supportive one of another, because like I said, what you're doing is different than what I'm doing. It's different but the same, and
Yeah.
that's okay, right? It's the same but different. So yeah. What else y'all got going on? Okay, so you got the book. What else you got going on? Because you never only have one thing happening.
Oh, never, never.
No.
I can't be bored like that, Deveter.
No.
Well, I recently released a new free pattern for a frog glasses holder. I have it here actually.
So this is the new big thing, the
Yeah,
glasses holders.
Yeah.
Everybody is making a glasses holder. So I'm like, I should make a glasses holder. My sister-in-law was like, you need to make these. I'm like, okay.
Well, my son, he loves frogs, and he's
Mhm.
constantly losing his glasses.
Mhm.
And it just happens to be like the exact same green as these. They're black and this color green. And so I got this. This is the amigurumi yarn.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this would be really great because it makes it sturdy, holds the sides up and stuff.
Mhm.
And so my son's very silly. So I like, of course, I had to have the tongue and be so silly. But now he's not losing his glasses every morning. I was like, okay, this is a great idea. And since I've made it, I'll share it with other people. And so there's always more free patterns and product reviews. Today I have a new book review on the blog with a giveaway that's happening over on the blog as well. So
Nice.
always tons and tons of things happening.
Always tons and tons of things. Now, what hook did you make that cute frog tray with?
It was always Furls crochet hooks.
Of course.
It was this was one of them. You use 2 sizes. This is the blush streamline metals. And
I
then
am loving this blush hook. I just got my matte ones.
Mhm.
I love this hook. I just love it. I was like, oh, I need to do a giveaway. I have so much stuff. I don't want to hoard and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but I can't give these away. So I know that you were a super Odyssey fan as well because Amy, right? How is Metal Streamline shaping up for you?
I love them. Like I still use my Odysseys. They're my go-to, but I still use the metal streamlines. So I mean, I have the new travel case. It's packed with one of them right now, the metal streamlines for an amigurumi project I'm working on. And there
they are. Look.
There you go. You found them. I was afraid, honestly, when I put them in there. I'm like, am I going to remember that I put them in there?
No. I'm like, I put those hooks. Here they are. Nice and snug in the bud.
I recently found that, when you put if you have a metal tapestry needle, if you just put it inside, the magnet holds it inside, so you can take that too. And I have little embroidery scissors that also fit in here, and they're held in place with the magnet, and then they still fit inside when you close it. So I can take essentially everything I need in this little case. I'm like, I love this.
That is so smart. I didn't even think about that. Sure enough, y'all, the magnet works.
Yeah.
Sure enough. That's so smart. Good thinking. Love these. I think they're such a good deal. And like I said last week, they're nice and sturdy. So they're not going to get squished or anything like that. So your hooks are going to be, let me take my hooks out before I put this back in the box.
I was super excited because we're going to the UK in the summer for our vacation. And I was like, how am I going to take my hooks? And then you guys came out with this. It's like you heard me questioning.
We were listening. And the Furls gods were listening.
Exactly. So now I'm like, I just throw this in my bag and it's perfect.
Perfect. Nice and sturdy. Love, love, love them. So I was trying to find your website so I can make sure everybody has a link to the Loopy Lamb. I'll put it in the comment section. Enter. Because we love you, Ashley. I asked Pam if she was going to be able to come live with us today, but her kids are on spring break, so she wasn't able to join us this time.
Somebody's asking, can you show it again? What were you wanting to see again? Pastel Bug, was it the case?
Oh,
or the middle thing inside?
Let us know what you wanted to see. Pastel Bug Crochet. I love these names. Everybody has such creative names. How did you come up with the Loopy Lamb?
It was a family thing. So we were trying to come up with a name, and I wanted to do something with like loops because you use loops with crochet. And my mom sent me a message. She's like, I've been thinking about it all day. And she's like, what do you think about the Loopy Lamb? I'm like, I love it. And I was like, it also kind of is reflective of me because I can be a little loopy myself. So I was like, this is perfect on multiple levels. This is what we're going with.
Love it. Love it. I do remember that. Somebody, Francis, wants to know if you've ever published in Happily Hooked magazine.
No, I didn't publish any patterns in Happily Hooked, but I was interviewed by them not long before they unfortunately closed. But yes, I was in the
Ah.
magazine.
Now, question for you. For those of us in the US, one of our stores, Joann's, I'm sure you've seen all the hoopla, going on, has closed and everybody is saddened and they going into the store and the sales aren't what they thought they would be and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Where do you buy your yarn?
So we don't have a lot of choices up here. And I think I told you last time I was on, I went to the US and finally got to go to Joanne. So I was super bummed about the news because I was like, I only got to go one time, guys. And so up here, we like, especially in my area, we don't have a ton of options. We have Michael's, which is my go-to for most yarns, but they recently have been cutting down on their selections. We have Walmart, again, been cutting down how much variety they offer. And we have a couple of local yarn stores. We have 2 of them. And I'm still working on them to be more inclusive of crochet. They're quite knitting.
Yep.
Fine. Like I get it. That's to them, that's their primary target audience. I always make sure when I go in, I'm like, hey ladies, I'm using this for crochet. So that way they see and they hear that crocheters are in there. We're spending money. Our money is just as good. And we're happy to come in and spend, but like, it's okay to recognize that we are also a fiber arts that, should be included.
I still like when I first, joined the fiber arts community in this way, I didn't understand it. And I still don't understand why there's such a disparity. I think that's the word between the crocheters and the knitters, and why knitters, more stores like little shops or whatever are more focused on knitters as opposed to crochet. And I'm like, we're all using yarn. Like, why can't we all just get along? So
well, I'm working on another book for yarn stores to teach them how to teach crochet and to see the value that crocheters have as a market for them. And one of the things that we've seen in not just our research but personal experience is that they just think that we only want cheap yarn, right? And if they're stocked with beautiful like wools and special fibers, they think that only knitters are willing to spend that. And I mean, if I did a tour of my office, I can prove to you that not all
that's true.
Not true, right? So sure, I love a good acrylic as much as the next person, but I also like those splurge items where I'll go to my local yarn store because again, I want to support those small local businesses. I'll go there and I'll buy, the 20 something dollar hank of yarn. That's not something I can do all the time, but that's why it's called a splurge.
Right.
Oh, you buy
We're going to use more of it.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, we use more of it.
We use more of it. So you might want to consider, thinking about us having those crochet, like this is what it looks like in crochet. This is what it looks like in knit. Like you can do both things with this yarn. Now, I think also, like you said, some crocheters are like, well, maybe I can't use that fiber. And that's not necessarily true,
Well, for sure. And if the yarn stores aren't as inclusive or they just don't understand, right? Because a lot of them themselves are knitters, right? And so they're able to answer those questions. But when a crocheter comes in and if they don't have that experience, it can either manifest itself as seemingly non-inclusive or in other ways that create a negative experience, which it doesn't have to be. We can all use the same yarns, whether we want to or not is up to a personal preference. It has nothing to do with the craft.
Agreed. Like it's definitely an education.
Yeah, for sure.
Educating everybody across the board about the two very similar but different crafts. and how we can all feel included. But you have to be a voice. So like you said, when you go into your craft store, when you go into that store and you're talking to them, like, I'm going to crochet with this. This is the pattern that I'm using, and this is the yarn that I wanted to use for this project. So I think it definitely is having those conversations and people being open to having those conversations and sharing and learning from one another is really key. I think in order to help with inclusivity, you have to have those conversations. So thank you for trying and working with your yarn stores to get them, up to speed and helping out to widen, the acceptance of crochet with the fancy yarn.
Well, yeah, I met a yarn dyer 2 years ago now, and we met at an event and we started talking, and she's like, "Oh, do crocheters use hand-dyed yarn?" I'm like, "Absolutely." And so we had an amazing conversation, and she went home and she learned how to crochet, right? And now she's like, because before she had only been working with knitters, so now she makes it a point to go out and find crocheters to collaborate with. And it just is all about having those conversations and not going into it angry and be like, "Oh, you only use knitters." It's like, no. It's like, well, why is that? Crochet, I love your yarn. I'd love to use it and it would look great in this, or, it's just being open on both ends of the conversation to move the conversation forward.
Yes. Well said, Ashley. Thank you for that. Now you say you're working on another book?
Yes, ma'am.
You just an author. Go ahead, girl. So what's the other book going to be about? If you can
We don't have the title yet. I did it with my friend Julie Desjardins from Acro Crochet. You know her.
Yes.
And so after we went to the H&H trade show, again, we were having these conversations, and both of us are very passionate about, getting crochet to be more accepted. And we said, you know what, like, after talking to these people that own yarn stores from different places, one of the overarching themes was, I just don't know where to start. I just don't know how to do this. How do I even start becoming more inclusive? Like, I can say that I'm all for having crocheters come into my store, but where do we go beyond that? Right. I said, because that was one of the conversations we had was, sure, you can say it, but like, what kind of actions are you putting out there to show that you are inclusive, right? And we said, like, crochet classes is a good thing to do, right? So, and if they don't know how to crochet, they can't teach it. And so we're like, well, you can bring in teachers that can teach. And this is how we would start a course. And so we've created this book to make it accessible for them to have a resource to learn in one go in order to teach their community and expand the community and be more inclusive to everyone who uses yarn.
I love it. So important. Like, seriously, like, so important. So thank you so much for that. And also, I think, for crocheters like me, who's like, I just can't get knitting. I want to, I just can't. Like, somebody who's willing to teach a crocheter how to knit, showing them, the ropes, the different styles, continental and this and that and the other thing. I just get so confused. And I'm like, I don't know am I purling? Am I whatever the other one? Am I knitting? Am I purling? Did I drop a stitch? What am I doing? It just seems so difficult. But I think, having books like this to show inclusivity, to show openness, to learn and to embrace. And I think that's a good thing. So thank you so much. I'm excited. Can't wait to see what that looks like. But folks have definitely been commenting. So I'm just going to do a quick scroll and select somebody. You tell me when to stop. Select somebody who's going to win a copy of your book.
Stop.
Did I click somebody? Did I click? Okay. I clicked somebody. Jessica. Congratulations, Jessica. We are going to get you a copy of the amazing new book by Ashley Parker. Email support@furlscrochet.com. Heather, I'm not sure if you're on today, but Jessica is going to email and we're going to send her a copy of this amazing book, and we'll figure out the logistics behind that. But I really did want to give away a book today because it just shows that we are supporting one another, that we care about one another, and we just want to continue to push this community forward. And this book is so, so, so important. People need to know, like, if you have this great idea, this is how you can self-publish it and get it out to the world. So again, thank you, Ashley, for this amazing book. We are so excited. You're going to have so many different isbins if you know publishing. You're going to have so many different isbins. And my first job was at a publishing company. I used to work for Penguin Publishing. And I worked in the children's department. So the publishing world is definitely something near and dear to me. And self-publishing is as well. I did self-publish 2 books, not crochet wise, but I did self-publish 2 books. And I wish I'd known some of this information that you're sharing in your book in order to push my books forward. So I'm definitely going to get it so that I can learn backwards. And for my next books, get it right. That's the plan, to get it right for the next time out. But congratulations, Jessica. You won a book.
Congrats, Jessica.
Anything else you want to share with us today?
Nothing really.
Nothing else? busy, gone and being busy and making things, like you're crocheting, you're writing, you're mothering, you're wifing, like you're doing all the things and you make it look so easy.
Oh, thank you. It's because I brushed my hair today. That's why.
You got curls and everything, honey. What a sparkly shirt.
Again, behind the scenes, outside of this little square.
You don't want to see. I know. Trust me. I'm like, whoo, child. If people really knew what it looked like over here, they'd be like, oh, Miss Deveter. Like, I do. I need help. But
yeah, it's like I always get these compliments, like, you're so put together. I'm like, oh, like, want to see my office? Let's go. Let's be real. Come on. Downstairs.
And you know what? Sometimes we should. Right? We should let people just get a little peek. Like, I make it look nice and clean when I'm in front of this camera, but trust me, there's a lot of chaos that goes into this beautiful picture, you know? So sometimes people do need to see the behind the scenes. Like, look, people, it took some work to get here, you know? So yeah, some work. Well, Ashley, I am going to let you go about your amazing day. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. Everybody, please make sure that you go on to Amazon and purchase this amazing book. Is there an opportunity for you to have it on your website to sell as well, or only Amazon?
So right now it's only on Amazon, but it will be eventually on my site. I can sell it through Ingram Sparks, but again, we have to, I'm not comfortable just putting it out until I've held it in my hands and made sure that it's all good.
I understand. It's something about, you know, expecting somebody to do something with your stuff before you can touch and feel it. It's like, ooh, it's almost like yarn, right? Like, everybody's like, oh, just order it online. It's like, but I want to feel it.
Exactly. It's like, no.
I want to feel it.
A repeat purchase is okay, but the first time, that's risky. That's risky business.
Yeah, and that's why I asked where you purchase your yarn, because it's like, you know, I want to feel it. So, you know, when we first got Wanda yarn in and I had the opportunity to feel it, I was like, okay, yes, this is some good yarn. I like it. But it's hard. It's hard when you don't know what to expect.
Well, yeah, it's like I've seen some people joke about they wish like TV and online had smell-o-vision. I wish I had touch-o-vision. It's like, you need to touch this. And only crocheters and knitters would get this, because like so many times have we been to events and you're wearing something or you have something made of yarn and people just come over and they're just touching you and you're totally fine with it. I'm not a hugger, but I'm like, hey, what's up? You like that? I made that. I made that, you know?
Feels good, doesn't it?
This yarn, this color, get it.
I love that. And that's so true.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
I'm pretty sure I knew when I first met you. So.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
You had something really cool too. I'm trying to remember. I can't
Oh,
remember.
so I took a sweater that I already had and I cut the back of it out and I made a granny square or granny
Yes.
rectangle that
Yes.
filled out the back because I wanted a sweater for when I was inside, but I didn't want to be too hot. So it kind of like created venting in the back of my sweater.
That's exactly what it was. I was like, that is so smart.
Yeah.
I think I kept saying, that is so smart. I just
Yeah.
like that. It's so smart. It was awesome. Oh, yay. Hopefully we get to see each other in person again.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
was a really fun time. That was
Yeah.
a really, really fun time. We'll have to repeat. I don't know how or when, but we'll have to repeat.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, Miss Ashley, thank you again for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. I'm going to say goodbye to my friends, but until next time, have a good one. And I can't wait to get the book.
Bye.
See you later. All right, you all. I hope you had a wonderful time hanging out with Ashley and I. I know I had so much fun. Definitely go and check out her book. Go to Amazon and oh darn, what was the name of the book, y'all? It's in the comment section. Print it yourself and put her name in, Ashley Parker, and her information will come up. Definitely go and check out her website as well, the Loopy Lamb. She has some really cool patterns there, patterns for free, patterns to purchase. She's a star. We love her here at Furls Crochet, and we are so excited about all the things that she's doing. Happy Women's History Month. Happy National Crochet Month. Remember that we have 25% off streamline resin hooks, and you can go ahead and get those ones that you had on your list. All right, y'all, take really good care of yourselves. Make sure that you're exercising, stretching, and doing all the things that you need to do. Have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye-bye.